Yeah, I mean, numbers are definitely important, like everybody's been saying, but they shouldn't be something that affects you so much to where you like start to get down on yourself, like Dog was saying. It's so easy to spin out of control with the numbers. I've done it. I know every streamer's done it before, because as somebody who goes into Twitch streaming, you don't think about what it's going to do to you mentally, and it has a really big impact. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of StreamKey. I am the host of Belloc_TV, and I didn't mute the stream, lol. And so we have myself, we have my awesome co-host Sadomi as well. We have DoggGaming, who's returning for another awesome episode, and then a guest that hasn't been on in a long time, WoolsyMammoth. So real quick, we're going to run down the line, starting with Woolsy. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, my dude?
Sure. Man, as far as streaming goes, I started streaming a few years ago. Variety streaming, stuff like that. Ended up taking over a year off because of life stuff. But finally the stars aligned, so to speak, and I'm back to part-time streaming. So good to be back.
Awesome. Good to have you back, man.
Yeah.
DoggGaming.
How you doing? I'm DoggGaming, and I'm a variety streamer and a little zany Scotsman. So that's probably the best way to put it.
I can agree with that. Sadomi.
Everyone, welcome to the StreamKey Podcast. As you know, me and Veli always turn it down every week. So, also, you guys don't know, my name's Sadomi. You can see it down below. I just said it 3 times. So we're going to go on to the show because I love the show. And Veli, please take it away from me.
All right. So, Chad, don't forget to ask us questions that you might have about streaming or your specific channel. Anything you guys got for us, you can either at myself and TRUgaming in the chat, or you can join up in the Discord, go into the waiting room, and we'll pull you in from there after I send you a friend request. That'll put you in front of the questions in the actual chat itself. So, first topic we have for today is Summit 1G teases announcement. Might be switching platforms. Maybe he was saying a lot of stuff like pro and anti Twitch, and I want to know what you guys have to say about that, starting with Sadomi.
We should take an over-under for him going to different platforms. But so? I don't. Here's the thing: Summit's been doing this for a long time, and he's definitely on the older side of being a broadcaster. Like, you're starting to see the people who blew up in like the 20, like 14s, 15s, 16s, getting up into the 30s now, and I'm not 30 yet myself, but as I've gotten older, you start looking at longer down the road, longer pictures. So I would not be surprised at him taking any kind of deal just to kind of go back to a more traditional life. Because life of a streamer is essentially, you sit at home, you're doing all your stuff here, and then you probably leave the house like twice a week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Summit would be open to making a move. And I wouldn't put it past him at all. Not at all.
Okay. All right. DoggGaming.
Yeah, I think so. Just watching a couple of clips there, to me, it sounds like there's going to be a move. Personally, I think it'll be YouTube. I know there's a lot of speculation as to Mixer, but I've got a feeling it'll be YouTube. He was talking about YouTube, and it was kind of a little bit evasive when people were asking him about video content and such as well, about him changing or the style of his video content. And I've just got a feeling that it'll go there. I think he'll follow Courage. But yeah, to me, it looks that there's some other speculation. Some people were asking whether he was maybe getting married, or maybe his girlfriend was pregnant. Mm-hmm. Personally, though, I'm with Sadomi. I think it's start taking odds on where he's headed.
Okay, all right. Woolsey, what do you think about it, man?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, whether or not he's moving or not right now, I'm sure he's getting offers, and I'm sure he's considering it. And with the evolution of this as a business, and all these websites become bigger, and the funds become available to kind of secure these people as kind of long-term assets, right? I think all the streamers are probably looking at job security and where they can get paid the most money to do what they do, and be able to have a life outside of streaming, because they've killed themselves for it for a long time. So I'm sure it's stressful to have to think about, taking one day off and losing 1,000 subs. So being able to have options is huge. So I mean, I can't speak to whether or not he's leaving right now, but I'm sure he would, if the price is right.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to think like over a year ago, back before he started playing Sea of Thieves, he did have like kind of a dip in his viewers. And I know that he was kind of worried about that. You could tell he was like trying to like regrow his stream and, basically adjust his sites and try to get something going, because he could see that he was losing his popularity on Twitch. And I think having to go through that, but also still being a large streamer, like it'd be dumb for him to not have his agents reaching out for contracts to any platform just to have that job security, like you were saying. It'd be incredibly smart for sure. And you got to think at some point, because he's been doing it probably longer than most of the top streamers, I would say. Like he's got to be getting a little bit burnt out on it. You know what I mean? Like not to say that he doesn't enjoy it or anything, but after that much time, it's got to be nice to have that clear head of not having to worry about I could take a day off or anything like that. It looks like we have a caller already. You got Anti-Grav coming in, so
just
switch the scene. What's up?
A quick addendum to that. That's a fair point, Bailey. That you make. Fortnite, he really struggled with the Fortnite craze, and it really nearly sent him under in comparison to what he was. So I think that's a very good point. Yeah,
it's because I mean, any big streamer doesn't want to see it just crumble in front of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to be losing money on top of that.
And it make them realize how easy it is for it to go. You just get out the cycle of what's the end game, and all of a sudden you're not getting watched.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, you could have like a bad month mentally, and if you're at Summit's level of the size of his channel, if you have a bad month, that's like thousands of viewers that you could potentially be missing out on. All right, so once Vince gets the scene switched over, we'll get Anti-Grav in here to get his question in.
Hey. And also, let's contextualize kind of what happens if a streamer takes a day off, because especially a larger creator, because one thing that YouTube allows you to do is you can pre-plan content, and that's really just not possible on Twitch right now.
Yeah,
right. Absolutely. Anti-Grav, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up, man? How's it going? How you guys doing today?
Very, very well. How about you, my guy?
I'm doing good. Comrades, I wanted to talk to you today about a couple things. So Velok, you might recognize me from a video a couple months ago. I used to be called something different back then. Also shout outs to StreamKey. I've been listening for a long time now. Sadomi, I like what you're doing, brother. I'm always there for you. And DoggGaming too. I've seen you quite a bit as well, man. I wanted to talk with you guys about a bunch of things, and I really do apologize. I kind of made it a concerted effort to be here this morning because I work
totally fine.
I work overnight shifts, so it's like it's very rare that I'm up this early. So I was like, I need to make it to StreamKey.
Overnights are the worst.
Yeah, but hey, it supports the streamer lifestyle, depending on the job you do.
That's very true.
So I wanted to talk to you guys a bit. If you guys, I'm a little nervous. Sorry.
No, you're good.
And I podcast too, so which is really weird. So basically, what I wanted to talk to you guys is a while back, Ashley Christ, she did an episode of Stream Coach or whatever with some dude who's like global brand marketing and whatnot. And basically, one of the things that he said on that, I think like 2-hour podcast episode was to get your viewers to love you. And not only should you get your viewers to love you, but you should let them know what you stand for. And I'm going to say the P word. It's not genitalia and it's not a curse word, but I really do think that us as streamers or maybe as personalities, if you're confident in it, I think you guys should, if you guys feel comfortable with talking about that on stream, you guys should talk about politics. If I'm being honest with you guys. I think a while back, Velok, I made a video for you guys a bunch of months ago, and I was asking you, and I was like, hey, man, how do I banter really well? What are some like improv sort of pointers that I can get? And one of the things that I've noticed, because I've been streaming for about 2.5 years, and I've started like 3 different Twitch channels, but what I always adhered to was the general advice of like, be yourself, be like the over ecstatic version of yourself per se, right? Unless you're like that chill streamer, but it's kind of hard. Like let's be honest, it's hard to just be like a chill streamer on Twitch because you can just tune into anybody like that. But we kind of fit into this like standard mold of a streamer. Like we have this, like when we talk about like how a streamer should be and like give them tips and stuff, we always kind of give like this standardized test sort of set of like, hey, this is the criteria that you guys should be like, you know, whatever, and maybe not talk about these certain subjects. Well, I wanted to talk to you guys about this, and maybe we can pull this into a wider discussion, but about a bunch of other things per se. But I want to say like my experience as a streamer who's tried out a couple different things, who's tried out character streaming and has tried out like a bunch of other stuff as well, that personally, when it came to me, now I'm pretty confident in my politics, and I'm very passionate about it, especially with the election going on this year. And I won't like just be like talking about it all the time. Like I'll banter and I'll discuss like what's going on with my life and stuff like that. But I do talk about politics, and I do talk about what some of those like generalized streamer mindsets would be like racy topics, I guess. And I feel that like it's produced a better stream because I'm passionate about it and because I'm confident in that type of stuff. It's produced a better stream for me. Before I delve into the other topics, or like another topic that I had in mind that I wanted to talk to you guys about, I wanted to hear your guys' opinions on that first.
Okay, we'll start with Woolsy on this one.
At the risk of being or starting making you say all that back, I want to be clear on what you're asking, like what you're wanting an opinion on.
Oh, sorry. I wanted an opinion on. Sorry, I talk very grandiose, and I'm a bit jittery right now. I've got my frappe right here, so I'm kind of like hooked on caffeine. Basically, what I was saying is, do you guys think that you should be able to delve into topics such as politics, so long as you might be confident in it, or you might feel okay for your stream to talk about it? Do you think that you should talk about it as a means to, like, if that's a part of your identity and who you are, obviously put that out there? And B, I forgot what B was, but we'll get there. Go ahead, start with that.
We can start with A. I mean, it sounds like you've got your answer already, right? Like, for me, talking about politics would be an actual nightmare. And that being the environment on my stream, if I had to sit there and deep delve on politics, that would be my nightmare for sure. But it's not yours, right? So it just all plays back into the first point about you being in on your own personality. And if you're being yourself and that's what feels good to you, then do it. I don't think we need to like nitpick on which topics are too like edgy or inappropriate or divisive. If you feel like it's good content for you, then do it. And as long as it's not against TOS, then you're fine, right?
Right.
All right, DoggGaming.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo everything that Woolsy's saying there. I think it comes down to, you answered it quite a bit of it yourself. It's about feeling confident in your politics and knowing what you're talking about, and feeling that that's something that you want to have as part of your community, as part of your show. At the end of the day, even look, I'm from the UK, so my politics, and I'm very passionate about politics, but my whole political thing focus is completely different area.
Right. Yeah, understandably, right.
Obviously.
This Friday was pretty pivotal for you guys too.
Unfortunately. But the thing is about it, even though I'm very passionate about it, the issue with talking politics on stream, if you set out and that's what you do, that's great. But for someone like myself that has been building a community, and Veloc and Woolsy and Sadomi and everybody else, if it's something that you start to do, you are going to turn a percentage of your viewers off. You know, starting out, doing it from the beginning, you're setting out what your stream is. Yeah, people are going to know what your stream is from the start, and they're going to either want to watch it or not based on that. But for someone like myself, if I was to start getting as passionate as I do about politics when I'm speaking with my friends, I'm going to lose viewers. You know, I'm going to lose viewers, and you know, and also, you know, another thing is about politics. Regardless of how knowledgeable you are about politics, regardless of what your politics are, you are going to come in contact with trolls because of it. Right.
Right. Yeah. No. Of course.
It is something. You are opening yourself up to more trolls than you would if you are gaming. I mean, well, everybody gets trolls. We all get trolls if we stream, right? But certain subjects, and politics is right at the top of the list there, alongside religion. You know, yeah, you start talking about these two subjects, you are going to get trolls, and you know the issue with political trolls is that they can be particularly nasty. They can be particularly nasty. So whilst I completely agree, if you want to do politics on your stream, absolutely do it. You know, one of the reasons that a lot of people stay away from doing it is all the things that I've just mentioned. You know, they want a space that they don't want trolls like that. They want a space where, you know, for example, as I say, I'm into politics, but I want a space where I can be free of politics, because it's, you know, I talk about politics a lot with friends and acquaintances and stuff. Streaming is somewhere for me where politics can be not there. Do you know what I mean? And I can vibe with people and connect with people regardless of politics, because another thing about politics, as you're very aware, is it's divisive.
Oh yeah,
it divides people, you know, and that's another reason why people shy away from it, because they don't want things in their community that's going to split people down the middle, you know, and have factions, you know, and rifts. So, you know, everything that Woolsey said. And more, and a lot of what you said as well is absolutely. A lot of what you said is absolutely right. But Woolsey's right as well. Like it's. If you feel confident, if you feel passionate, if you feel it represents you, and you want to represent it, then do it on your stream.
Right. I just to, before Sadomi gets to ripping me a new one. I just want, he's that out. He was on mute, and I'm like, this guy is researching me right now. He's about to dox me in the chat. I just want to say, like, I do agree with you. I think that if you weren't talking, see, you guys have been streaming for so long, right? And I feel like that at this point, if you guys were to just start talking like heavy politics, you know, from now that you guys are like a year, 2 years into your whole shtick, it kind of feels like you're gonna lose like a good amount of your viewership, and I totally get that 100%. To me, like, for me, it's a little bit different because I've started doing that already. Yeah. Like I openly talk about that stuff, but I do want to say, even whether you do it or not now versus when you started, I think it's still important to know your viewership, what you stand for. So if you do have topics like that maybe come up in the chat, like, sure, you could give like a standardized response, but I do want to say that, like, it's better to let people know what you stand for than just staying silent the whole time, because then like, unless you're outwardly banning somebody and making like a big like public square type of deal about it, people aren't going to know what you stand for. And I think, like, you can get a bunch of viewers that like you, but I think getting viewers to love you, they want to know you personally. And I think knowing them outside of this vague sense of the person helps a lot. Politics is just one aspect. Like I said, I'm just really passionate about it. So I'm okay with talking about that on stream, obviously. But I do think it does help when it comes to certain issues, as I'm sure Sadomi is aware of, to let people know where you stand. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, you're good, man. Sadomi, take it away, dude.
All right. So, as you know, I'm more analytical than I like to be analytical about things. That kind of gives you a truer insight. So the one thing I want to ask you is, when you're thinking of doing your political streams and going in a more political direction, talking about that, are you thinking of that being like a main focus, or just kind of like something that you are passionate about speaking about on the side? because that could mean two totally different implications. Either you change your entire premise so that you are a political voice on Twitch, or you are a person that is leaning to this one party or against this one party, or even are you a political educator? Because one thing I think Twitch does need to do is have people who are more neutral providing political education and allowing free-form discussion, because politics is a very fun game if you understand how it works. It's very, how do I put it? It's leveraging as much information and misinformation and figuring out what is the truth, what is real, what is not real, and what is like sifting through all that.
Right.
It's like putting your hand in a pile of like horse manure and pulling out grass. Like it's interesting. It's a very fun place. But
yeah. Yeah, to me, it's like a side. It is a main focal point, for me. But it's not like I'm streaming under politics and I'm talking about it for 3.5 hours. I just think I'm still playing my games. I'm still having fun playing my games. I'm just also saying like, hey, politics. Go ahead, Veloc.
Okay, so the reason why I say don't talk about politics is like, for me, politics really do divide people quite a bit. There's never been, like, in my life, there's never been anything positive to come out of politics. It's always one side is happy, and the only reason why they're happy is because the other side got something done against them, and vice versa. You know what I mean? I've never met somebody who talks about politics and has a smile on their face when it's just an actual positive thing that happened. You know what I mean? It's always jabs at the other side, and like everybody's been saying, also, if we were to start talking about politics right now, like, our viewer base would just crumble because you just separate people. And like I was saying, politics, it just creates this negative space for both sides in the long run. Both sides like eventually are not happy at some point. And I really don't want to separate people. I don't want there to be any sort of negativity like that in the chat. So if there's anything that I can do, it's not talk about politics. Because even in my real life, I don't pay attention to politics at all. I had a lot of it growing up. I have a dad who's very, very passionate about politics, and nothing against him at all. But like, growing up and then seeing how much happier I can be, not watching news stations, not worrying about like what Obama did or what Trump did or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, the amount of happiness that I have now not paying attention to that is incredible.
More power to you, man.
Exactly.
More power to you.
So there's nothing wrong with politics necessarily. It's just, if you're passionate about it, do it. Like everybody's been saying, like, if you think that works well for you, by all means do it. I do agree that your chat should know more about your beliefs, because it will make them, get to know you on a much deeper level than just if you're playing video games and just having fun. So definitely, by all means, tell them what you stand for, but at the same time, just be careful, because it can lead to either side getting really, really, really upset. You know what I mean? Just because that's how politics works. But that's why I don't talk about politics on stream, to answer your question.
Gotcha. Okay. And then this second thing I wanted to mention, not related to that at all, is that so recently I was streaming. I spent like I said, I've been doing this for a couple of years. And on this new channel, I kind of just said to myself, I want to stream whatever I want to stream, whatever I'm passionate about, just whatever I feel like playing, as long as the content's good, I should be good. And I will say that in total has had a positive effect on my stream. So I started streaming this game called Distance. And if you guys don't know what that game is, it's kind of like, let's take Super Mario Maker 2 and make it into a racing game with a car that can like fly and do crazy stuff as well. And so I was playing this game. It's very niche. Not a lot of people know about it at all. And so I started playing it on stream. I was just like, it's fun. I want to play it. I think it'd be great. Well, it turned out that even though nobody was really streaming it on the directory, there was a Discord for that game that advertised streams automatically for that game. So I ended up getting like this whole big community that came to watch me. And I ended up getting a viewer base like that, even though there's no one in the directory. And if you remember a long time ago, I'm not sure, maybe about a year ago, there used to be like Twitch Strike, which used to be like, hey, play this game if you want both like that good intersection between viewers to streamers. But yeah, so I ended up playing distance and I ended up getting a good like average concurrent viewership from it and boosting up my following a bit and stuff like that through distance. And it was the same thing, not the same thing per se, but it was kind of the same deal with Fury. I started playing Fury on stream, which has a little bit of popularity and it's a pretty good game. Yeah, like I started playing these games that were kind of just like niche, kind of like out of nowhere games that might have been on the indie scene for a little bit and stuff, but don't really have a Twitch directory like huge viewership or anything. And I was still able to get a bunch of viewers and stuff. And I just found that was pretty weird because before we used to be like, well, you know, don't stream like the tippy top tier or top category of Twitch. Stream like maybe 2, 3, 4 rows down, and you might get it on or of some game that's there that you might be really good at or that you enjoy playing, and then bam, you know. And I think like we always talk about on stream or on the podcast and stuff, we always talk about like, hey, play whatever it is you want to play and have fun playing it. And also, hey, you know, all this type of others, try and play something that actually has some sort of viewer base. But I felt like obviously those are rare, like corner case instances, but I do feel like literally I kind of have this like renewed confidence now where I'm like, okay, wait a second. I can legitimately play whatever I want. and as long as I'm bantering good with the game and as long as I'm flowing good, I can still get a viewership. Now, obviously, you know, I do put myself out there in certain communities that are out there and, you know, I do get some sort of viewership just from that alone. But I do think that, yeah, now that I'm like in the game and I'm like really trying, I'm really going hard. I really do see like, okay, yeah, no, this actually works. You know, and just to clarify, Bubbly said, but some games are just, you know, resident sleeper. And I agree. Some games are definitely resident sleeper. I can't play. I tried streaming Slay the Spire. I cannot stream Slay the Spire. My bantering is not good because all I'm doing is like doing a stream of consciousness of like what cards I'm going to play and stuff like that versus like, hey guys, this is what's going on in my life today. And I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm trying to beat this boss right now. But yeah, so I do agree. Like you got to kind of find that flow with the games and stuff. But this is like the first time where I felt like, oh my God, I could actually stream whatever I want to stream. And as long as I'm flowing good and the bantering's good, there's a chance that people will just outright see me and like want to come by. And I wanted to know what you guys think about the whole game choice thing versus like, you know, what expectations were maybe a year ago versus now.
Okay. So
I'll start
oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah. So first thing I'll say is using the Twitch directory as the sole source of like discovery. It's never like, this is not, I don't ever think that's a good idea just because Twitch doesn't have the tools itself. Ideally, you can make good content out of literally anything. Like what game you're playing literally does not matter. What matters most is your goals, what you want to accomplish with it, and 2, how you want to go achieving those. And what I mean by that is if you want to have a large following, then what are you doing to promote that? So you could promote, like I said, with distance. Good example. Once you know that they have that small community there, you can just target that right there. Just go right and like, okay, make a few videos on distance, make it really good, and just keep pump them out. If you know you get auto promoted on the Discord, go live on with distance every once in a while. Don't bring yourself out because I'm not sure how deep the game goes or how deep you can keep it going. But like I said, and this came out in 2014. That's 6 years ago, and it's like I've never heard of it till just now. So like I said, you can do whatever you want to do as long as you focus on getting people to see it first and foremost. So as people can see it, you can do it, essentially. So when it comes to game choice, literally it is whatever you want. The trick is marketing somewhere where people will see it.
Right.
All right. DoggGaming. Oh, you're muted. Pro streamer, by the way.
Pro, yeah. No, I agree with Sadomi, and this is why we say play what you find fun, because you know there are people that are going to make it this year. There are people that are going to get to partner this year that are playing right now saturated games with a low view count, and something's going to happen, or they're going to do something, and it's just going to pop them, right into everybody's social media feed, right into all those clip feeds and all those compilations. And so that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, hard work is the basis of getting a successful channel. But luck can also play a part, but you have to create your own luck. And the only way to create your own luck in Twitch streaming is to have fun. That's how you create luck, is you have fun. You do what you're passionate about. You do the things that make you feel good, that you want to keep doing for hours and hours and hours. Because when you're doing that, that's when you're at your best, and people want to see you at your best. That's what they want to see from you. So that's why we always say I've been on the StreamKey podcast quite a few times now, and we always say, play or stream what it is that you find fun, because that's what people are trying to connect with. It doesn't matter what the game is. People want to make a connection with the person that they're viewing. They want to feel that regardless of how far that person is away, that they've got something that they can connect with. That's what you're doing. That's getting back to what you said. You've got to make your viewers love you. That's how you do it. You connect with them. So you can only really do that if you're having fun. If you're forcing yourself to do something you don't like, you're not going to connect with people over it, because you're not in a good mood. Yeah, sooner or later, you maybe can do it with a week or 2 weeks or a month with a smile on your face. 6 months down the line, it's going to be like the worst job you ever had. And people won't want to watch it, and you won't get that one moment that happens that pushes you up, or you won't get that steady build on your community. So again, I echo what we say: do what you love.
Oh yeah, Woolsey.
Yeah, I'm just curious. What are you using as your metric to gauge whether or not things are working for you? Because you said that you've been streaming for like 2.5 years, but you've started and stopped like 4 different channels. So what do you use to gauge whether or not you're like, oh, I'm done with this channel, I'm starting a new one, or, oh, things are going better now and things are working now? Because I hear you talking with all this energy and confidence about what you're doing, but you've also started and stopped from like 5 different channels. So I'm just trying to get an idea about like what metric you're using to gauge whether or not the content is working for you, and whether or not you're on a good track.
Oh yeah. So first of all, good question. Thank you. I want to clarify. Yes, I did start and stop, I think, about 2 other Twitch channels prior. The reason being was because I had a really big problem where my first channel I solo streamed this one game for a very long time, and people knew me for that one game. And then this was like 2017. And this was like my first channel ever. And mental health for me is a pretty big struggle. I've been going through mental health struggles for a good while now. I'm doing great now. Thank you guys. In case you guys were wondering, I'm doing great now.
That's good,
but yeah, and I've kind of found like my confidence and everything with that. But 2 years ago, when I was in that first channel, I solo streamed this one game only, and it did really well for me. And then when I tried to branch out after that, it really, really like didn't work out. And I had like a 200 and something follower base, and I was so like concentrated on the numbers at that time that the fact that nobody was watching me, even though I had this followers and how I used to have this amazing viewership, and it just all left me, really like set me on like a spiral, and I ended up deleting the account. The second time around, I got into a character stream of sorts where I portrayed a specific character. But I really, like, after a good number of months doing that and keeping that up, I couldn't handle it anymore, because it wasn't like, I feel like it wasn't as authentic as I wanted it to be. And so it felt a little bit too try-hardy. So I opted to just delete it at that point and try and like do other things instead. So what I ended up doing is, before I started up streaming again seriously, which I think I've only been streaming seriously on this account since January, was podcasting. I took up podcasting, and I did the whole political podcasting, of course, and stuff, where we just kind of like make jokes and have fun for like 2-3 hours or whatever on a pod. But yeah, so I did that podcasting, and then I channeled that into my social media, into my Twitter and whatnot, and then I went back into streaming again. And now I'm taking it seriously now that my mental health is good enough to where, like, hey, you know, if things do hit the fan for me, I'm gonna be all right because I'm having fun at the end of the day.
Okay.
That's fair.
And like for your your follower numbers and your average viewer numbers, and so you said that there's a lot of these smaller games that you feel like you have this renewed confidence about, that you don't have to stream this specific bracket of games, and there are still smaller communities for games that you may have not expected. Are you still really relying on that reflection in the numbers to get that boost of confidence and that the stream is going the right way with these smaller games? Or like, I'm just, where does the confidence that your stream is on the right path now? Where does that stem from?
So my confidence in stemming from it is two factors. One, let's say how active chat is, and how well, actually three factors. Did I enjoy myself streaming it? I think is a major factor at the end of the day. If I enjoyed myself streaming the game, then I'm going to continue either streaming that game until it's finished or stream it for a while, until I'm bored of it, and then I'll play something else. Another thing is basically how engaging my audience was. If they were chatting it up with me or whatever the case may be, and they had fun watching it, versus like if my viewership dropped off completely, and then like I couldn't get any engagement whatsoever for like maybe 5 minutes or something like that, from like, or sorry, not 5 minutes, but just like engagement in general, like just having a completely silent stream, even though I'm bantering as hard as I can. And even though it was, like, I might have some silent viewers, I feel like to me, that's a bit of a failure, because the fact that if I have a lot of lurkers, but not like one or two chatters, I feel that like maybe I'm not engaging my audience enough. Another thing too is I still put some weight towards my average viewership, just as a means of like assessing if I am doing things well. I don't always take those numbers to heart, because we all have days where our viewerships can be low, or we have other days where snap, we just got rated by like 100 people. Oh my God, you know, and then basing the successes off of that. I feel that I do place at least a small bit of weight into the average viewership, just to see if what I'm doing is particularly right.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would just say that, because it does seem like, and this isn't a bad thing, right? But it does seem that you are pretty sensitive to the numbers, and that's okay. A lot of people are, and you should be somewhat sensitive to the numbers if you're even remotely concerned with growing. But there's a line, right? And especially
right.
if you said you started that one game when on your first stream or your first account that blew up for you, but you were locked into that one game, that you have to be careful with that with these smaller games, especially if you stumble into this weird kind of niche indie game with a strong community around that game. You may get this pop of followers and viewership because you have a good personality, and it's a new person streaming that game, and all these people are flooding to come see you play that game. But then you're back in that same scenario where if you try to leave and then none of those people follow, you're like, what did I do wrong? I'm a horrible streamer, but that's not the case, right? So you just got to be careful. Be careful of those like niche communities, right?
Right. Yeah, 100%. I do feel that like I am still a bit number sensitive. I feel like you said, maybe a little bit more so than I would like, but definitely a lot less than I was 2 years ago. I do feel though that like like I said, I did stream Distance, and it did have that community, but then I streamed Fury, and I didn't join any Fury community to like advertise to or anything like that as well. And I still had pretty good viewership there too as well. So obviously, I think I do have an aesthetic thing going on as well. Like I do very like vapor wavy type aesthetic that I pull. So that's just kind of make me different, and it's a style that I like. But I do agree on your sense. I do need to work on that a bit more. But I felt like I've made progress, and there is more work to be done. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, I do have to agree with Woolsy. It seems like you're basing your success off of numbers quite a lot. And I think you're on the right track with this new channel, to be honest, because it seems like you're doing more of just being yourself as opposed to trying to do something that you think will work. what you need to remember is that like right now you're just being yourself. So like when like as you continue streaming, don't necessarily worry about the things that have worked for you in the past. Like don't worry about the things that are working for you right now as much as just continue to just be yourself and just, you know, be like literally just be yourself. Play the games that you want, you know, express the opinions that you have been, and don't worry about like what changes in the future from that. You know what I mean? Because it seems like you focus a lot on just like what Woolsey was just saying is the numbers, and the numbers are going to fluctuate no matter what you do. You'll have dips, you'll plateau a lot, you'll have peaks that will just crash back into your previous average viewer count, and there's nothing you can really do to stop that from happening. So as much as I do agree that you should be paying somewhat like some attention to your numbers, they really don't hold the same amount of weight as are you having a good time streaming, and do you think that people would watch it? You know what I mean? Like that's really what matters, because the numbers are going to fluctuate regardless, whether it's the time of year, whether, you know, there's so many things that factor into it. So I do think that you're doing something good here. It seems that you're very passionate about it, but I don't want you to fall into doing what you've done with the previous two channels and just coming under the impression that I lost, you know, 3 average viewers today, or maybe like the last week, I've like these people haven't shown up. I should just delete this and start over again. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be really hard to just continue doing that, because Twitch gets more competitive every day. So if you're just constantly deleting channels and starting over, you're literally just setting yourself back every time you do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I do think you're doing something good here. I just want to make sure that you understand that fluctuations are going to happen regardless of the games that you're playing, regardless of your mentality, regardless of anything. Like things just happen on Twitch.
Right. Yeah.
But
I got on.
Oh yeah.
Sadomi already spoke, right?
Yeah. Yep. He was the first one.
Oh, okay.
Did you have another question for us?
I was just trying to make sure my brother over here gets some time to talk.
Did you have another question for us, man?
You know, probably, but I'm sure I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
No
And
problem,
Velok, it was definitely a pleasure. Sadomi, you guys, everyone else, thank you guys so much for letting me on. Really big fan of the pod. Been listening to this pod for, God, I don't know, almost a year now. So
Awesome.
It's pretty crazy how time has flew. But yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on, and it was a pleasure. Have a great day, guys.
GG's, man.
Bye.
GG.
Thanks for asking, man.
I just got called out on my podcast, bro.
Bro, that was some where'd my hug at type of stuff.
Oh my God, dude. I can't believe that shit. What the fuck? All right, so all right, we had a question from Miss Rag. She says, do you guys fret over numbers? And I think we kind of went into this, but if you guys want to go into a little bit more detail on this.
Yeah, I can go into my mindset with this one. So
it's all right if I just jump in for a moment, just as a
Yeah, do it up, man.
So about fretting about numbers. Recently, I've had a huge change in my channel, which has seen my average numbers plummet. So recently, I've been fretting about numbers because they're not what they used to be, you know. And it kind of touches a bit on what we were speaking about there. The thing is, though, because of those dropping numbers, it really made me question whether I wanted to continue streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I realized I started having fun again on stream, and so the numbers don't count. It's not they don't count; they just don't worry me anymore, you know, because I'm back enjoying myself, you know. So yeah, it's okay to look at numbers. It's okay to try and draw an idea from numbers, but you can't worry about them. You can't worry about them. In reality, you shouldn't be worrying about your Twitch numbers until until Twitch is paying your bills, right? What you know that once Twitch is actually paying for your entire life, then start worrying about your Twitch number. Do you know what I mean? But up until then, you know, they're not worth being worried about. You know, look at them, try to draw conclusions from them, try to use them to help yourself shape your content. Absolutely, but look at them in a dispassionate way. Look at them in an analytical way, very much how Sadomi would tell us to. So that's don't fret about them. Don't get emotional about them. Don't invest that energy in them. Invest thought in them, but not emotion.
There you go.
Yeah, that's actually like very close to what I was going to say. Because quite frankly, so the best way to put it is, if your numbers are low, something in your content sucks. Whether it be your presentation, your reach, the way people see you, or just literally what you're putting out there. So detach yourself from your content. Like, your content isn't you. Like, for instance, me, my value is not how often I stream or how often I don't stream or how many people come to my stream, because that is completely out of my a lot of that is out of my direct control. I can influence it, but if there is like a big internet outage, like with Google happened this past weekend, and I get 0 viewers for a weekend, it's not going to be like, oh my god, I suck, I'm horrible. No, it's not. No. But being real, numbers will tell a good story, and numbers never lie. And if you ever see yourself disputing a number, finding the cause behind the number is important. It's just like fixing a PC. If you see your temperatures are high, there's a problem. You got to fix it. Something's wrong. A fan's busted, or you got to get some thermal paste. So use your numbers. Don't attach yourself to your numbers. In fact, I think a good way to put it is, like, if you guys have a job, so a lot of us have jobs, your job performance doesn't really reflect on you as a pure person, just how you are at that job. Like, for instance, if I put myself in a sumo wrestling career, I get clapped and I get 0 wins. But guess what? It defines me as a person. And I would not take that as, like I said, as me. So just take your numbers, use them as a data tool, but not anything more than that. I love analogies.
All right. Woolsy?
I'm going to disagree a little bit. Just because, like, it's so much easier said than done on a lot of those things, right? Like, you can use if you put yourself into a sumo wrestling competition and you lost, you wouldn't be emotional about it, right? But that's because you're not a sumo wrestler. But it would be different if you spent years and years training to be a sumo wrestler and then failed. That's a lot different when it comes to being able to handle that failure analytically and without emotion, right? And that's why, and just like, not sweating the numbers until it pays for your life. It's that same analogy of dressing for the job you want. Like, if you don't treat, if you want your stream to be something like that down the road, if you don't treat it like that early on, it will never grow to be that. Especially now with as saturated as it is. Obviously, I agree with the advice that you can't let the numbers dictate your mood and dictate everything about your decisions for your stream. But if you're not somewhat being able to analyze numbers and use it for decisions for your stream, then to me that kind of feels like ignorance, right? Like it feels like you're just kind of dodging the truth. And that's all to say, what do you want your stream to be? If you're just casual and you want it to be something casual, then you can let those numbers be casual to you. You can see them, and that's fine. You can keep streaming and not be affected by them, right? But it's also like, okay, if these things dip and it's not going the way that I want it, I'm not going to get emotional and say that I'm a horrible streamer and that I'm lost and poor me and all this stuff, because the information is all in the numbers. And if you can take that information and use it as a positive, then that's great. But it's so much easier said than done. And it always comes back to your personality and what you want your stream to be. So just like you can't dictate how people live their lives, I would never expect to dictate how anyone runs their stream or runs their numbers. But that's at least for me personally.
So one thing for me, I come from an athlete's mindset. I've been a competitive person my entire life. I cannot, whenever something goes wrong, I don't ever blame any other factor except for myself. And the best way I go about that is looking into numbers. And so a lot of people are not like that. They cannot see that. They cannot act that way. And it takes practice and training. You don't get that overnight. So when I try to tell people that listen, you need to like just focus on you, focus on what you're doing wrong, what you can improve on. It's, as an athlete, that's the only way you really improve. Because I can sit there and be like, oh god, Twitch is like not the platform that's like helping me out. All these booby streamers, all like I'm tired, I get those 0 viewers, but if I don't do anything to change it, then ultimately I have nothing to complain about, or I have no like ground to stand on, because I haven't done like anything to change it. And quite frankly, this is how I like. It's a very strong mindset. Not many people have that strength or have that strength yet. But everyone, I mean everyone, I don't care who you are, everyone can grow a similar mindset, at least grow parts of that mindset to help you with anything in life. Look at anybody who's been successful. They have like great example. The great man himself, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Do you think Kobe got into the gym and was like, yo, man, these guys are taller than me. These guys are like more athletic than me. No. He got in the ball, he took the ball, and he was like, all right, I'm putting 50 up in the gym right now. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just kept working at it and kept fixing his game.
Yeah, I mean, numbers are definitely important, like everybody's been saying, but they shouldn't be something that affects you so much to where you like start to get down on yourself, like Dogg was saying. It's so easy to spin out of control with the numbers. I've done it. I know every streamer's done it before, because as somebody who goes into Twitch streaming, you don't think about what it's going to do to you mentally. And it has a really, really big impact. And I was kind of telling my dad about this like a week or two ago, just telling him how, like, you know, if you have a bad mentality for even like a day, it can spin that into a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even longer on stream, because one bad day on stream, if it stays locked in your brain, like it just keeps going until you can figure out a way to spin out of it. Woolsey did make a good point that if you do want this to be your career, you should handle it like it is a career. Like you should handle it like it is your full-time job. Which is it's very true. You can't just coast through streaming, just having a chill, fun time, not worrying about the repercussions of anything, if you do want this to be bigger than what it currently is. But at the same time, you also need to find that balance of being able to have fun while doing it. And part of that fun comes with not paying much attention to the numbers, because I've seen a lot of people, I have some friends that have been full-time streamers, paid too much attention to how much money they were making that day, how many viewers they had on that day, any of that stuff. And, you know, they were doing really, really well, and now they don't stream at all. And it just sucks to see that, but it's really easy to have that take control. And when in reality, streaming is just about having a good time and entertaining as many people as possible, not about how much of your bills were paid this month because of streaming. But good question, Mr. Rags. Hopefully we're able to help you out with that. I don't think we have any more questions right now, so we got some more topics we can talk about.
I will quickly say one thing though. Like,
yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's important that we like also say that 99% of Twitch streamers will not make enough, like nearly enough to even constitute this just like as more than a hobby. 1% of streamers will like make enough to live an impoverished life. The only income is through just broadcasting, being a content creator, and 0.001% will make a decent, okay living through it. So I think most people should be okay with going through their content as either an avenue other than a full-time job or career, because there's nothing more fun just being a hobby streamer. That seems like so much fun. Just get on, do what you want to do, and just do stuff. That sounds beautiful. In fact, I think a lot of people should actually embrace that more often too. I see a lot of people going like, I want to be full-time, I want to go all this. And I've seen the pros and cons from different people. I've talked to people about it, and I've listened to people about it, and seen things you go through. A lot of times, working like a job is just sometimes way easier than being a full-time streamer. Way easier. But I mean, less fulfilling. Yeah, and I get that. I get the fulfilling part. Like, being fulfilled is probably the most important part in life, because we only get one of these, as far as I know. I don't know if we get like a respawn, a reincarnation, or anything. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet, and hopefully I don't find out for a long time. But I think just focusing on having fun with it is really good. And also, some people like have like their fun is growing. Their fun is learning. Like me, my fun is learning about as much of this crap as I possibly can. Like, I spend so much time lately just kind of understanding the whole world of broadcasting, streaming, online content creation. And it's probably the most fun I've had doing it in my entire like existence of being on Twitch and on these platforms.
There you go. We got another question actually from Andy Turbo. He says, what what tips? Wait, hold on. What about tips if you want to treat streaming as a side job or hustle and not necessarily as a full-time career? So somebody who just wants to handle this kind of like as a hobby, as like a side thing. We'll start off with Woolsy on this.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like this question has kind of been, I mean, it all loops back to the same stuff, right? Like we've beaten this question into the ground. But it's just like if you want it to be a side thing, then you invest a side amount of your time. I mean, if you don't want it to be, if it's not your full-time income, then you don't invest your full-time amount of hours of your free time into it, you know, until it becomes viable for a full-time option. So just, I mean, if you're giving it all your energy and all your time, then you're doing too much. So do less. I mean,
yeah, I think that about squares the question up. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add, or?
I mean, if you're streaming part time around your work, it might mean that your streams aren't regular days or times. In which case, you'll have to be more proactive about promoting your streams. You'll have to find channels to really let people know when your streams are, because if you are in a situation where streaming and it's absolutely fine where streaming is the secondary thing, you know, you might not always be able to say I'll be here at this time. So finding ways to make sure and reach the people and let them know when you are streaming, I think that's probably the only tip I could give you in that regard.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's. I mean, if you have any further questions on that, Turbo, let us know. We can definitely go into more detail if that's what you need. But yeah, so it looks like we have another caller. We got Dirty Brit coming in. So once Vince gets the scene switched over.
Holy Brit.
Is he here?
Is he here?
Is he? Oh, there he is. Okay.
There he goes.
Dirty Brit, what's up, man?
Hey, Brett.
Nothing much. How are you guys doing?
Always good. What do you got for us today, man?
So on this podcast, we obviously have talked about how big Twitch is, and of course there are some streamers doing the best content they are putting out right now, and of course they're not getting noticed, right? So the one thing that always worries me is what if I'm not doing content at all? So obviously I'm more heading in a way of chill kind of content, but I don't know if I'm even making decent content, because I think I'm average at games. I know I'm not funny, but I don't know if that's enough to see if that okay content. Could I do better or what?
So you're questioning whether your content is good enough?
Yeah.
So I'll start off with this one. If I ever have any doubt on whether my content is good enough or not, it usually isn't good enough. Because if it's not good enough for me, then it's not going to be good enough for somebody who doesn't even really know me. You know what I mean? Because part of what keeps viewers around is your personality, but what gets them there in the first place is your content, obviously. So if I ever have any doubts about my own content, I really start hunkering down and thinking about what I'm doing wrong. Because if there's doubts, then that means that there's definitely something wrong with it. You know what I mean? So you have to really start speculating as to what you want to do with Twitch streaming. You have to start thinking about what you want to do as a streamer, what will make you different than other people, what will make people want to come to your channel, and what will make them stay. So you also have to think about the kind of entertainment you want to be. Do you want to be funny? Do you want to be more chill? Do you want to be, energetic? And it's so much more than just those few things, because it also you have to think about well, how are you gonna what are you gonna do during your stream? Even if you go chill, what are you gonna do during that stream to still keep it entertaining? Because being chill doesn't mean just playing games and talking to chat. Being there's so much more to being an entertainer and trying to keep people's attention than just playing games and talking. You know what I mean? So you really have to like break it down as to what you want to do throughout a stream each day. We'll go with DoggGaming next.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, especially if you want to be a chill streamer. People who are hype or loud or have a sort of a loud personality, a lot of their content is going to be spontaneously created through their personality. So if you're a chill streamer, if you're a chill person, there's a lot less chance to have those moments spontaneously create, you know. So I think you have to be far more plan out far more rigidly how you see a stream going. You know, if you've got a chill stream, then in reality you should feel completely in control of the pace of that stream the whole time. If you're someone who's a hype streamer or a loud streamer like that, you know, you might have a stream where it is quiet, but then other times the pace is going to go and it's going to carry itself on like a train, you know, and it does some of the work for you. So if you're a chill streamer, what it does mean is that there's more onus on you to entertain. There's more onus on you to keep people's attention. So you have to think far more about things that can keep people's attention that you want to do, that you want to partake in, and find ways of incorporating them into your stream in a way that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, absolutely. Sadomi?
So Andy said this best in chat, and I like the answer. I'll say it literally word for word. If I wouldn't buy a design, why should I expect someone else to? Essentially, if you wouldn't watch anything you put out, why would I expect someone else to? So I say just watch your streams back and just take note of them. If you can't handle it, don't be too critical of yourself. Just note things you can improve. Me, I like ripping into myself because that like is how I learn. So like I'll go through mine and I'll be like, wow, you couldn't fix your mic, you freaking monkey. And I was like, Jesus. So I'm going through everything. I'm like, I can't I find everything I can that I can improve. I look at that and do it the way you're best to it. Like I said, I like ripping into myself. It helps me motivate myself. For you, however you like to do it, if you like pointing out small things like, okay, I could change that right there, I can do that. I know one person who'll go through and they'll actually live edit their videos together, to splice certain parts together. Like, okay, maybe I move this over here. If I said this in front of this, or I preface this sentence with this sentence, then it'll go through it. It's all a creative process too. And I recommend doing as much, do some research, find some other people you watch and see what they like, see what they do. And kind of, I think everyone here has their content is an amalgamation of everyone's they've watched over time and their own personal personalities and life experiences. So if there's a show you like, watch the show. If there's something else you just like enjoy watching or like listening to, listen to that and let your brain just go. If an idea seems stupid, think of it anyway. Just keep thinking it, because then your brain starts working and getting more ideas. And then eventually you'll start coming up and you'll start feeling more comfortable with what you're doing.
Yeah. Woolsy, what do you got for this, man?
You know, I've heard you call into the podcast a few times, and just following the trend of questions that you ask, I feel like I don't know. It's I can't honestly tell if you even like streaming. Just kind of judging by how your responses are and the trending line of questions that you have. And it could just be, you know, your personality that you're very low key. So you don't hear a lot of enthusiasm or energy in the subject itself. But I feel like you might even want to go a completely different direction with it. It seems like you are beating yourself down with analysis, right, of your stream and of how good your content is. And I just think that could be very unhealthy for you mentally, especially with streaming being what it is for you right now. I think that you could probably benefit from going the complete opposite side and not analyzing anything. Just give yourself a break. Stop worrying about if your content is good enough or if you're entertaining enough or the big theme behind your channel or maybe just if you enjoy streaming, I hope you do. If if it seems like you've been involved in it for a while, or at least in the scene for a while, just try to get a handle on the pattern of enjoying your stream, not for the analysis side and not for the feedback of whether or not you're reaching enough people or whatever the gauge is in your head, but just try to not think about any of that for a week. Don't spend any energy analyzing, because it also seems like your analysis trends negative, where it's not. I don't hear a lot of uplifting things when it comes to your content. It's always, well, I don't know if I should stream anymore. I think I should take a break, or I don't know if my content's good enough. And if your mindset trends negative, then you should probably just take a break from analyzing any of it and just stream. Just play video games and talk to the people who are in your chat, and if they're not there, then just play the video game and see if you can enjoy it. And then if you enjoy it and you spend a week without analyzing yourself negatively, then that might be a time to start slowly looking back into it. But I would say you got to take a break from analyzing yourself, from critiquing all that stuff. Just enjoy it for a little bit,
Yeah, honestly, I definitely agree with everything.
We said everything. I was too much of a bitch to say myself, so thank you.
Yeah, man. You can definitely beat yourself up over it, and like he was saying, it does sound some of the time like you don't enjoy what you're doing, and you could definitely take a page out of Woolsy's book and just stop caring. You know what I mean? I think Woolsy said it great, to be honest.
So I think the big downfall, to me as a person, obviously I have a low voice and kind of chill voice, and a lot of people do seem either depressed, and I keep thinking that I do enjoy streaming. I absolutely love doing it every day that I do it, but it's just I feel sometimes my voice brings me down in certain ways, and damn it, I forgot.
Well, see, if I can interject right there, literally the first thing you said with that sentence was my big downfall, right? Mm-hmm. That right there is another way that your pattern in your head trends negatively toward yourself. And there's no way that doesn't bleed into your streaming. If the thought in your head is immediately, well, this is a big downside for me. Trust me, I have 1,000 downsides. I just don't give a shit about any of them. Right. So for you, it's going to be the biggest battle for you, I think, is just trying to reverse that thought process in your head of every time you feel yourself thinking, oh, well, my voice, I don't have a lot of energy. Who cares? Mm-hmm. The you that is faking energy would be worse than the you that is just you, right? And okay, some people don't care to watch someone that doesn't have the crazy outward energy. That's fine. There's plenty of other people who would enjoy being around you for just the intelligent things you say, or your gameplay, or your witty comments. There's so many other ways to be entertaining and engaging that aren't just in your face. So don't ever think that just because you don't have that trait that's a downfall for you. It's not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we were saying last week that you were thinking about being, I think it was last week, it might have been the week before, that you were talking about being more chill because you can't be that hype streamer, and you were saying that people don't necessarily want to watch chill streams, and that's not necessarily true at all. People will enjoy any form of content that they enjoy. Just because you're more chill doesn't mean that people won't watch you. You know what I mean? If the people that watch a hype streamer don't come to your channel, that's totally fine, because there's plenty of people that enjoy a more calm stream, where they're not yelling and screaming the entire time or just trying to put on a show. You know what I mean? You can still be a chill streamer, and I do think that you need to not analyze it as much, like Woolsy's saying. You know what I mean?
All right, so Britt, I'll put this away. I internalize the best for myself. Okay. I say just do the thing. Like Woolsey literally said everything like I was thinking, but like I said, I didn't want to. So I'm just gonna be real with you. Just fucking stream. Just fucking do it, dude. Like literally, just fucking do it. Just relax. Like it's not. Right. I'll be honest. It's not that serious. It's video games on the internet. Half of us are making memes talking about dick jokes. Okay, like we can just like if no one likes what you do, who the fuck cares, bro? Listen, people don't come to my stream because I'm black. People don't come to my stream because I'm bald. People don't come to my stream because I don't play Rocket League anymore. Like I don't care, and you shouldn't care either. Like they just go do the fun part of it. Because like I want you to just go and have fun streaming. Because right now, I went back to your YouTube and I looked and I saw your videos gone. I'm like, okay, but that's fine. But like, please just stream, just relax. You're good. It's fine. Right. Don't worry about what people think. Do you know why? It's the internet. Only like 10% of people have anything important to say anyway. Have you been in half of Twitch chat? No offense to StreamKey chat, y'all are awesome. But the majority of Twitch chats anyway. Listen, it's just talking a bunch of. It's not that serious, man. We're good. Okay, just go out there, go stream. And just that's really it. Just go stream, and then stream 30 times, and then come back.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've been trying to tell myself a lot is that for the people, I mean, if people don't enjoy my content's not for them in the first place. You know, you just got to do your thing. You gotta stream how you. I mean, you just got to be yourself. You just got to have fun and not worry so much. But I hope you're able to answer those questions for you, Britt.
Kind of like just like explain like to the point of like me being so hard on myself because like always like look at myself like if I'm not at least trying to do better or at least try and change something about myself that will like I don't know better my content or better myself personally than last week, then like I don't get the point of trying if I'm not. If that makes sense.
Right, but I think what Woolsey was just saying that I think what Woolsey was trying to say is that you know you are trying to better yourself as a streamer every week, but it's to the point where you worry too much about it and there's too much negative in there. Because what Woolsey's saying is like you're calling in every week asking questions, right? But how much progress are you actually seeing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So maybe it's time to take it from a different perspective in your case specifically. And just, you know, not worry about it so much because it is true, you know, you're calling in every week and, you know, just trying to, you know, get the right mentality of what you should be doing to better yourself this week. Like it's respectable for sure. But if it's not working out, then maybe it's time to change something up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Question, Britt, do you work out?
Try to like nearly every day.
Okay, good. So I understand. What's your max rep on like a bench press or something similar that you do?
Probably 100.
100? Okay. Would you be mad tomorrow if you went to go bench 200 and you couldn't do it?
Well, I'd be disappointed, not mad.
Why would you be disappointed? You literally your max was 100 yesterday. Why do you expect to hit 200 tomorrow?
Because I believe in like if you put in the hard work, you should continue that hard work.
But you did 100.
It's impossible.
That's double what you did. That's double the weight.
We're saying that you're expecting too much out of yourself every week.
You're setting yourself an impossible task. Mm-hmm. If you think you can go and double something like that, or you're setting yourself up to fail. You know, if you set yourself a goal that's a way, then the chances are you're not going to hit it. And then when you don't hit it, then you're going to say, I knew I'd fail it. You know? So, yeah, like, absolutely, you know, it's good to have goals, it's good to have plans. But if someone said that you're very far in your head, and I think that's a pretty fair comment, you're beating yourself up about stuff that's out with your control, you know? And that's not going to make you happy. It's not going to make good content, and it's not going to make people want to come and watch it. You know, people don't want to come and watch someone be down on themselves. You know, they don't want to watch someone who won't give themselves a chance. You know,
that's where that streamer confidence comes into play. Like I've been saying, you You have to like just be confident on your stream. Like no matter what the numbers are, no matter what it is, as long as you feel confident that you're putting out content, that you're just having fun. You know what I mean? Like people are more open to coming to that channel instead of somebody that doesn't see the good in their own channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any further questions for us, Britt?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for
See you
calling.
later, Brett.
Wait, before you go, what do you take out of this conversation?
I just need to stay out of my head. I need to just enjoy myself and stop worrying about like the numbers, just everything that is kind of like on the business side, and just enjoy myself playing games.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's
man.
it.
Right, see ya.
See you,
See
man.
you later, dude.
All right. So we got another question from T Sir Waffles. He says, what are your opinions on viewer feedback? Do you think viewers can give valuable insight into the other side of stream? Or is peer reviewing between creators with experience streaming more insightful? I find often ideas brought forward by viewers tend to be niche ideas built around their experience rather than stuff that will directly improve the stream. So we'll start with Woolsey on this one. Basically, like, do you listen to your viewers on like guiding where your content should go?
I mean, it just depends on your relationship with that viewer, and the exposure the viewer has, and the bias that the viewer has, as far as like what their end goal is in giving you advice. You know, with any business, there is value to customer feedback, right? But there is fault if you take it too far. So most likely there is some sort of value to viewer feedback, because it probably means that if they care enough to give you feedback and you care enough about them to listen, then that probably means they're at least established enough in your community to where they might have some valuable things to say. But it doesn't mean that everything they say is going to be valuable, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be a one-to-one applicable to you. But you never want to be egotistical enough to where you dismiss it immediately. So I think just being able to hear it and analyze it and see what value it does have is always the smart route to take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Sadomi?
The way I view it, viewers don't know what they want, but they act in the ways they know when they. Sorry, wait. Let me say this. Don't take what your viewers say. Take what they do, because that'll give you a better impression. Because everyone can say, "Dude, Sadomi, you should stream Fortnite," and then no one shows up, and no one like says anything about Fortnite afterwards. But then they like play Fortnite, and I see them all like go right. I'm like, all right, what else game should I stream instead? They start listing off things. I just listen to what they do, not what they say. That's a really bad example, but essentially everything I've learned, just what people do is more important than what they say. Like for instance, I say I'm going to work out. I say I work out every morning at 9 a.m. I woke up at 10. So, you know.
Right. DoggGaming.
Also, hi waffles.
Yeah, I think they both hit all the major points on the head. You know, of course, input can be useful, but you know, like any information, it has to be weighted. You know, you have to give, you know, weight to as Woolsey said, the people that you know, the people that are there, the people are, you know, taking their view. Someone's in your stream every day from beginning to end, taking on board their view could be helpful. But you know, if someone comes in and they've been there one stream and they decide to tell you, well, their view doesn't hold as much weight, does it? You know, it really doesn't hold as much weight. So I think it's definitely about waiting, but also, you know, it's yours. It still comes down to it being your stream. You know, even if it is something that that a bunch of viewers might like, if you don't want to do it, you know, or if you don't feel that it fits with the way your stream is, you know, just because a bunch of people might like it, it doesn't necessarily mean you should do it, you know. So that's also a factor as well. You know, I suppose in the regard with with viewer opinions or viewer feedback, kind of suppose you've got to be a little bit blow in the wind. You know, some of them you're going to let, some of them, and then others you're going to stand strong to. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what DoggGaming said. There might be a lot of viewers that want you to do a specific thing and you might not want to. Like I know for me, when I play Escape from Tarkov, there's a lot of people that want to use channel points to redeem in order to play a raid with me. And for some of that, like that does sound cool in a way, and I know a lot of viewers would like that. But I know for a fact that the play style of some people pisses me off. You know what I mean? I know that my personality doesn't mesh well with everybody on stream. I know there's a lot of people that, they might talk too much. They might be constantly asking me questions. Like through experience of playing with viewers a lot, there's the occasional viewer that will constantly ask questions when I'm trying to talk to chat, or, like say somebody's a loot hog in Escape from Tarkov. Like loot is like the centerpiece of that game. And if somebody's trying to take literally every bit of the loot, that will put me in a bad mood. You know what I mean? Like if I kill somebody and you take the loot off that kill, and you just sprint immediately to it, I'm going to get mad. And so in order to keep myself from doing that, I'm still haven't done any raids with viewers like that, like they want me to. But that's because I know that like if I do get pissed off at the way somebody plays or the way somebody decides to, present themselves on my stream, that it could ruin the rest of that stream for me. You know what I mean? You also have to look into running your stream, just like DoggGaming was saying. It's your channel, and you know what you do and don't like. So at the end of the day, a viewer's opinion only goes so far, not to say that doesn't hold any weight, but sometimes it just doesn't mesh well with what you're trying to do. And that's totally fine. And if they don't like that, then like I was saying earlier, then the content's not for them.
A good example too. Viewers generally care more about their own interests versus your interests. And that's to be expected. So keep that in mind at always.
Yeah, absolutely. So Waffles, I hope we were able to answer that question for you, my dude. Good question, by the way. That's not something that gets asked too much. So, all right, moving on to some of the topics that we have, because we've barely even been able to touch these today, which is crazy. We've had a lot of questions. It's actually awesome. I love it. So we have Twitch is bringing in a new streamer love promotion for Valentine's Day. I think if you cheer a certain amount of bits or get to a certain amount of subs, you get some sort of badge or emote, I think is what it is. Did any of you guys read into this at all?
Yeah, it's similar to what they're doing for the winter holidays.
Yeah.
It's Twitch realized that was a really good way to farm subs. So they're like, all right, we're doing it for every holiday going forward. We're doing it for Valentine's Day, for Easter, Memorial Day. There's a holiday in between there somewhere they're going to make up. And then not 4th of July, but I don't know. They're going to make up something in the summer for that too. Summer of Twitch. It's coming.
Anybody else on this one?
Yeah, same as Sadomi. It's just repeating what they've done. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
It makes sense. It completely makes sense. But once again, though, as always, all the vast majority of new features based around how to get more cash out the viewer.
Yep. Can I get my channel page already?
Yeah, right. That's it. That is what we want for sure. So next topic is fan approaches just chatting streamer, but like in real life, like in person. So this, I read into this one a little bit. This viewer donated a certain amount of money to this just chatting streamer, and then also mentioned that it was his birthday the day prior, and then showed up and approached her while she was doing her just chatting stream. Like she's out in public. So he approached her, apparently paid for her cab ride home, and offered her a ride home himself. So we'll start with Woolsey on this one. What do you think about all that, man?
I mean, did anything come of it? Like, did he?
I don't think anything actually happened, but like the whole boundary of the viewer to streamer and like approaching out of nowhere, like without any invite to be there with her or anything. You know what I mean?
I think that you lose your right to that boundary when you go stream out, on the street in public. You lost that right when you left your house. If he was like climbing through your window, that'd be different. But if you have your camera on and you're like, there's literally no difference as far as him approaching her than anybody else approaching her and trying to find out what she's doing, walking around with a camera. And if nothing malicious happened, and obviously it's all for content. So if anything, this benefits her because now more people are talking about her and more people are talking about the scenario and she gets more exposure. So, she can probably complain that it was a cross boundary and she doesn't like people finding her out of nowhere. But in reality, she's doing it for content and she got more content. So I think it's going to be hard to actually. I'm not going to feel sorry for someone who when nothing malicious happened and she now has more exposure than she did yesterday.
Okay, all right, Sadomi.
So I'm not gonna lie. At first, I disagreed, but then you made your argument really well. But I do think there is a little, and this isn't on her part. Yeah, once you go IRL streaming in physical public and you broadcast out to the public, you lose that expectation of privacy, it's called, or expectation of, yeah. So, but at the same time, I think that it's a very, Twitch is full of people who are not mentally stable and are not socially, adept either. So this is how can I put it? I've never liked IRL streaming. I mean, I think it's fun, it's a cool idea, but I just like the risks and the potential risks are just so egregious that I personally wouldn't do it. But I mean, people like doing it, people like watching it, it's there, the market decides. But I think people, I don't know, you can't account for Twitch, which is too big of a platform. It's too big of a platform to educate everyone on why you shouldn't just show up to someone randomly.
Right.
Because we all can agree that's not necessarily the most kosher thing to do.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it's just I mean, you take that risk, so it is what it is, and rightfully nothing happened. But I'm not paying for rent for someone's cab like that unless I know you. So
the way I'm thinking about it is from her perspective, it would make me very uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Somebody approached me, came up and offered me a ride. I don't know this person. I know them through my channel a little bit, you know what I mean? But there is that barrier that you don't really know, the viewer knows you more than you know the viewer most of the time, because the viewer gets to see a lot more of you. You're the one that's constantly talking. You get if you have a camera, they see what you look like. And then as a streamer, the viewer isn't always chatting. The viewer doesn't have a camera up. You're not getting constant information from that person. You know what I mean? You don't even know what they look like. And for them to just walk up to you, I would feel really, really uncomfortable doing that. DoggGaming?
Well, I think that both your point and the one that Woolsey made are completely valid. When you stream outside, you're removing that right to privacy. But from the opposite point of view, going to approaching an IRL streamer with expectations, which is what this person did. They arrived with the expectations. They expected to be, embraced, accepted. Perhaps even on the stream. That's where the creepiness comes in. That's where paying for that's where it is way over the line. Is paying for a cab. It was slightly, she had to calm him down a little bit, and then he sat for 10 minutes and she waited at the public place until he left before she left. And that's quite clearly because they made her frightened, So the big takeaway has got to be this. If you're going to approach a streamer or an IL streamer, while they're streaming or out the blue, be prepared for them to feel scared, shocked, anxious because they don't know who you are. They don't know who you are. You might know a lot about them, but to the streamer, you are just a random person that knows all these things and is now standing in their personal space, and nobody really likes that at all, regardless. So, that again, it gets, she has, she removes the right for people not to approach her the moment she streams in public. That's just part of being in public,
Absolutely. I think it would have been better had it been just a totally random person that approached. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think so.
A viewer. It'd be different if that viewer and her had hung out before, or were if like they knew each other, you know what I mean, or like it was like a planned thing that they were already hanging out for sure. But like a person you really don't know just approaching and offering you a ride, it's just a recipe for a bad time. Like it's creepy all around for sure.
And Waffle said it best: parasocial relationships do not translate into the real world at all. That is so true. I was like, it's people forget how much. For instance, it feels like actually a good example. I met Tim the Tap Man at an airport in New York, and it just felt so surreal because like I knew him, I recognized him, and like I saw him, I know what he sounds like, and I just know it's him. But I realized he doesn't know me at all. He doesn't know so even approaching him when I did, it felt like at the approach is like he doesn't know me, and like I don't know him in a way. But it's kind of and if you're not used to that, if you don't understand that either, then you can definitely hit warning like red flags for anybody. Right. So everyone just be careful with not only yourself, but also understand that just because you see someone online a bunch, they don't know you. You are a complete stranger. You could be nobody. But then once you make the fact known that they know your broadcast, then you know infinitely more about them than they will ever know about you in that current point in time. So keep that in mind.
For sure. This one's a much lighter topic. Streamer pays off his mom's student loans. So this is like I think he's a professional Fortnite player, and he I think he was on stream while he was doing this, but he ended up calling his mom to let her know that he paid off all of her student loans in full. And it's just a really cool video. So I'm going to post a link for the article and it has the video in there as well for anybody who wants to go watch it. It's just really cool. And obviously it's a much lighter note than the previous topic. Did any of you guys get a chance to watch this at all or anything?
Yeah. Finally, we get to talk about a wholesome clip on this stream.
Right.
Most of the time we're talking about clips that's for completely the opposite reason.
Like crapping your pants.
This was very nice to see. You know, I do believe, people might think I'm soppy or whatever, but I do believe, seeing a little bit of good every day helps you to have a good day,
Absolutely.
So it's one of those, it certainly brightened up my day.
Awesome. Yeah, it was just really cool. And I think that, we could do a little bit to lighten the mood and, bring some positivity into your guys' Monday. So next topic we have is streamer claps back on comment putting down other female streamers. So this is actually this was Play with Jambo, who was a guest last week, and somebody had commented finally something along the lines of like wearing like actual clothes, basically, I think is what it was, and basically saying that she's a streamer who doesn't just show off boobs. And the response to that was amazing. Jambo said a bunch of things like your outfit doesn't like decide how much weight your opinions hold, basically. I think I'm getting that right. It's been a while since I watched it like real early this morning before I had any coffee. But let me post a link for you guys in the chat. I just thought this was really cool because I know Jambo. And if you guys have a chance to watch this, it's good stuff. There is a huge issue, and I've seen this comment made a lot of times about you're more respectable as a female because you're wearing more clothes than others, and I think that is a huge issue on Twitch, to be honest. Anybody got anything to say about this one?
Again, it's not a Twitch issue; it's a culture issue. It's the culture of not only online gamers but also just kind of the society in general. Like we look at women as complete objects and are not nearly as like competent as men, when in reality the majority of women do things like it's on the same level if not better than men do. And there's nothing, especially when it comes to just things like gaming, people online, like there's like you don't know what someone looks like or someone is behind a computer screen. Like there's so many people, and we're sitting here, like I'm in my room right now, and it doesn't matter. We have someone from Scotland. We have someone from Detroit. We have someone from New York. Texas. I'm not sure where you're from, but Texas.
Yep.
Texas, exactly. We have so many different backgrounds and different, like just life experiences on this podcast alone right now. And I think people are using the internet so badly, especially when it comes to treating people, because you can learn so much from people, but people want to just completely destroy people, like people of color, women, like people who are not on the binary scale of gender. it is not that, like, I don't understand why people have this much like of a hate boner against like just women on Twitch. If you don't like what they're doing, don't watch what they're doing. There's nothing that. I've gone to a whole different tangent here, but in short, like just listen. Women are treated like garbage on the platform, and we all have to do better. Not only as people who, I assume everybody here is respectful, but we have to do our jobs as champions to make sure everyone is treated fairly and equally, and as a person first and foremost. No matter what size their bra is, what size their body is, what color body is, or what genitalia they have, because that does not matter. We're all humans on this planet.
For sure. Woolsey, looks like you're about to say something.
Well, I was just reading through it again because I saw it. I read through it briefly before the podcast.
Right.
I don't know. At the risk of being the contrarian, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, honestly. Not because of the stance that Jambo took, because I understand that, but like I don't know. It's there's a certain dynamic with the female presence on Twitch, especially like the just chatting and all that stuff, and the titty streamers and everything. And there seems to be there's always the hate going both directions, and it seems strange that, and what I'm gathering from the article is that the guy came in and said, finally, a girl who's streaming without showing her tits, who can say what she wants or voice her opinion without being like fully naked. And sure, yes, that's not how you enter a stream. I understand that, and that's not the way to endear yourself to a community. But like it just seems like that's kind of an over aggressive mentality. I don't think that's sexist, so to speak. Like if when I think of big female streamers on Twitch who are not IRL, who are not just chatting streamers, right? Who got where they were not because of their body, but because of their content. The list is a lot shorter than the list of that I like, quote unquote, titty streamers, right? That I can think of, like notable ones. That made their name in the just chatting section and all that. So to get hate because someone came and openly said, "I'm happy you're not doing that." Yeah, it's not great. That's not. But is it worth an article? Right? I don't think so. I don't think it's worth an article and like banning them and shaming them for going the opposite direction. It seems strange to me that it's that big of a deal, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That it was article worthy.
So is your issue the fact that they wrote an article about it?
Yeah, just kind of that it's like they're blowing it up, like she took a stand on this like this hard topic in streaming when I don't know if that was necessary for that person, right? Like it just seems overblown to me.
I think part of the issue was like she was like, because it didn't seem to start off aggressive. You know what I mean? I think when it got aggressive was when the viewer was trying to say that they were trying to compliment her. But it's really a very, very backhanded compliment. It's a shitty compliment for sure. If you can even consider it that.
It's a neg.
Say what?
It's a neg. It's what the pickup
artist call a compliment. It's like saying, "Oh my God, Sadomi, I'm so glad you're a black streamer that doesn't say the N word." Like,
sure.
What?
Like,
right? Like, yeah. On a scale of compliments, that's low. On the scale of valuable compliments, right? Like, that's not a great. Right. It's obviously backhanded. It's obviously trying to inversely poke at an issue of the physical side of being a female streamer, and I get that, but like. To me, it just doesn't seem worthy of being blown up to this proportion, is what I'm trying to say.
So can I jump in? Sorry, Sadomi. Sorry. Yeah. So almost every week, there are cases of women being targeted, trolled for their looks on on Twitch. That's why it's important that these things go out. You see, it's part of an overriding message that needs constantly put out to people just now. There are people out there that are really missing the point, and the reason articles like this are made is because if we don't talk about this, then these people think that our silence is our complicitness with them. They think that we agree with them. This is why it's important for these articles to be made. This is why when a Twitch streamer has to stop what they're doing to deal with this, that's why it's important, because it's interrupting what Twitch is about for a beyond shitty reason. Do you know what I mean? And the whole thing to my mind, the whole reason that we're constantly having this is because there's a huge amount of male viewers and streamers out there that think that it's not a woman's place to be on Twitch, you know? And when they see successful women on it, it irks them, because gaming and streaming's a man's place and it's a bastion. And that's why it's important these articles are made. That's why these articles are written, because there's an issue and the issue needs addressed.
Yeah, I think people just want to be treated with the same respect, no matter what clothes they're wearing, no matter what language they're speaking or how they're speaking that language, anything. People just want to be like, they want a real compliment instead of a very backhanded shitty one. You know what I mean? Like you were saying, it's a dig for sure. There's just a very huge issue with that on Twitch, and I don't know. I wouldn't want to be complimented like that, like where it's like it's a really crappy compliment to the streamer you're saying it to, but also a huge dig at every other streamer on Twitch. Like, just because that streamer is wearing less clothes, their opinion means less, and like that's what really, really sucks about it, because that's not necessarily the case at all.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in with this part. One thing Woolsy, no offense, I might rip into you here, so be careful. So
go ahead.
The problem I have with you having problem with your article is that you're essentially just saying that you do not give a fuck about like what like someone feels about what they think about this topic or subject, which is fine. You're free to believe that. That's fine. But the problem is, like, we know you've probably had tweets or instant media, social media posts about something you care about, maybe a family member dying, maybe a issue you have about, like, you know, your own life or something. And so if you ever have made posts about that and you kind of give the same, like, is it really worth you typing about that? Then I really want everyone to reflect too. If you ever have a voice on anything and you want to shut down someone else's voice just because, like, you think it's not worth it, think about anything you post, and then essentially I can say for sure it's fine if other people say it's not worth for you to post that, stop posting that. Because also, you don't have that struggle. You are not like a woman on Twitch, and you probably never will be. I don't know if you will be or not. I don't know how your life is. I don't know that. So you'll know that struggle. Okay. Just as I won't be a woman on Twitch, and just as I'm sure Dogg and Velly won't be women on Twitch, they won't experience that. So I think for not only being better people as ourselves, but understanding perspectives that, yes, this is something that women do have to deal with, something that they do have an issue with, something that is an issue on Twitch. That for you to just like diminish that is kind of an asshole move of you, not gonna lie. I still love you though, by the way.
No, sure. I don't take it personally.
I mean, and I apologize for using
not get offended, I think.
No, like, but I mean, so I would say that, first off, I don't post on social media for that exact reason. Because because I assume that, you know, most likely, I don't have anything worth saying, and even if I did, why should anyone care, right? So, but don't take me saying that as far as me saying I'm diminishing the struggle that women have on Twitch, because I'm not. I fully understand that they are subjected to a physical attacks that we don't experience. I understand that, but I also understand that, you know, the internet is a hypersensitive environment, and especially in a gaming website, although we're trending better, it's still growing to where the women are going to experience a lot more shit than men are, you know, is streaming on a gaming platform on the internet. But women are not. Everybody deals with trolls in Twitch. You know, people come in and say shitty things all the time, whether or not you're in. Yeah, it may be different than that. And like I said, I'm not trying to diminish the struggle that women go through. What I'm saying is that I don't, just as much as I wouldn't want someone to write an article about me banning a troll out of my chat because they came in and said some shitty thing to me. That's about as equal as I think, or necessity wise, that's where I see the article for that, right? Like we all know that women struggle with that stuff. We understand that, and they deal with it in all different ways. But yeah, I just think that, okay, you stream on the internet, you're a woman, and yeah, you're gonna deal with guys that come in and say dumb shit. Like that's, I don't think that's newsworthy, right? Like, and most people are, I would assume the majority are trying to help build women up, but there's still the very loud minority that try and cut women down and all that, and they try to still make all the physical comments and the misogynistic comments, and I get all that. So yeah, don't misunderstand. I'm not trying to diminish her struggle.
Right.
I just think that as a whole, an article that says someone banned a troll on Twitch, I just like it's.
I think the article is less about the troll,
the banning, and more about
her reaction to the troll, because she handled it really well. She so she said everything that she needed to say, and whether this person was a troll or actually just trying to be nice, they made it worse by saying it was a compliment. So then that's when JMO kind of went off and said, even more stuff about it, and made the situation definitely bigger than what the person intended, for sure, because they didn't mean for it to be like that. But then on top of saying all the right things and explaining the situation in a very in-depth way and explaining why it's such an issue, she also made it funny. She made some entertainment out of it, for sure. And I think like that's what really made the article, because like you were saying, it's not news that a streamer or that a viewer says something like that to a female streamer. That happens every day, all the time, and that's not newsworthy at all. Like, it's terrible and it's horrible that it happens, but the fact that she addressed it the way that she did, while also explaining the reasons why it's wrong, and then also kind of making it hilarious at the same time, I think that's what made it awesome. Because like with serious situations like that, you're also trying to keep the entertainment up as well. You're trying to keep it as lighthearted as you can, and I think she did all of those things really well. And I think like that's what the article was really made for, not just necessarily the fact that she had a very shitty compliment. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but yeah, so that happened.
Yeah, the entire article, the way I experienced it, wasn't about just, oh, this is news. This is more like of, hey, this is an issue that someone addresses in a way that I want to highlight.
Yep.
And so that's how I view that. That's honestly, it's not as, I might get a factors comparison, but the way I kind of view that, when someone, especially when dismisses the article, why I get so offended by it, is because someone listened to Martin Luther King's speech and was like, do you really need to make a speech about that? And that to me is how I feel whenever someone like listens or says anything about someone's like opinion, because I think everyone's opinion has validity in some regards, just not for the perspective that you have or I have. For instance, I view the article different than you viewed it, and that's why we had the little disconnect there. Why we had the little And so perspective is the most important part of conversations like these, because I have a lot of female friends who go through it, and so whenever I see an article like that, the first thing I think is, okay, I understand that people are going to just automatically be like, oh, but you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this, and just like put down people who I care about, and also people who I think are doing a great job, do things better than me, but get more slack than I do because of just the genitalia I have and what I wear. So whenever I hear that, I instantly just have to make sure I'm on the battlefield, sword up, shield up.
There you go. All right, I think that's all the time that we have for today. So we're going to go with the outros for everybody. So starting with Mr. WoolsyMammoth, my guy, can you tell people where to find you and why they should watch you?
Yeah, man. Twitch.tv/WoolsyMammoth. I don't have a huge argument on why you should watch me, but but you can stop by and decide for yourself.
He's a funny dude, and his salt is amazingly entertaining to watch. So I'll sell him for him, but you guys should definitely go check him out. Definitely worth a follow for sure. DoggGaming.
Well, I'm Dogg_gaming on Twitch, and I'm a variety streamer, and I'm finding my feet in that because we've just started, but always a lot of fun in chat.
Absolutely. All right. And as always, the amazing, wonderful, beautiful, and super bald co-host, Sadomi.
Oh, baby, it's been Sadomi the homie. And if you guys want to see some more of me, I'll be live today at 2 p.m. EST. In other words, 1 hour from now, with the Sadomi Show. We'll be talking about Animal Crossing, because I'm excited for that. And also going on to a bit of Ashley Crisis, a stream coach program that she's working on, because I am a part of that. And I can't wait to kind of talk about my experience with that so far. So that'll be a lot of fun. So make sure that come by. I'm also going to be posting a new video live about Mixer and how I think they're doing really well on the marketing side of things. But we can talk about how they're not doing good on other parts side of things in the future. Pretty much go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Sadomi, or Twitter or YouTube.com/Sadomi. I got that link. I'm so happy. Bam.
Well, there you go. Everyone, thanks for watching another episode of StreamKey. We'll be back next week, Monday morning, 8 or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Almost just gave out my schedule. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time next Monday. We'll catch you guys there. Thanks again for listening and watching, and we'll see you next week. Sadomi,
Blaze it, baby.
there you go. Take it easy, dudes.